Top 15 new open world games released in 2025. 15. Lost Skies. Take a high-flying trip through the ruins of past civilizations and find out what caused their fall. As you fly through skies full of wonder and peril, use cutting-edge technology to solve problems and push the limits of what people can do. To solve riddles and find the valuable technologies left behind by those who came before, you'll need to explore ancient ruins and use Atlas, the enigmatic power that keeps the globe afloat. But there is danger around every corner, both on the ground and in the air. Battle the old turrets and drones that chase you around the floating islands and have epic sky battles with huge creatures that have been flying around since they destroyed civilization. I can't say enough good things about this game. The only concerns are that it has a lot of glitches and doesn't run very well. This is because the game is still in its early stages and because Humble Games is putting pressure on it. If we help the creators enough, those problems will go away, and all that will be left is the great game. But it has to last longer than the 1.0 release. 14. Hyper Light Breaker. Hyper Light Breaker is a new game in the Hyper Light series. It is an open-world, roguelike game with a universe that has never been fully realized in 3D before. You can go into the overgrowth alone, or with companions to explore wide areas, develop new things, fight off hordes, and defeat the Crowns and the Abyss King. The player can use both melee and ranged weapons at the same time. Each breaker can pick a class and powers that change how the game is played. Breakers can use hoverboards, gliders, and barriers to get around the world. When a player dies, a new world is randomly made, just like in other roguelikes. You can play the game with other people, and up to 3 people can join the same planet. In order to confront the Abyss King, the player must first defeat a number of regional bosses. The player can tour a hub city between runs. Don't play it like a Souls game. Even if the underlying combat principles are similar, breaker fighting is more on strategy and positioning than quick reflexes. The reason is that Souls games are far more picky about how you use resources and how you react. 13. Monster Hunter Wilds. The power of nature is wild and unstoppable, and the world changes a lot from one moment to the next. This is a story about monsters and people and how hard it is for them to get along in a world that is both good and bad. As a hunter, your job is to track down and kill powerful monsters and use the resources you gather from your search to make strong new weapons and armor. At the same time, you will learn more about the people who live in the Forbidden Lands and the places they live. It has to be stated that this game is not optimized, and it doesn't work well on most PCs. It doesn't look as good as I thought it would, and some of the textures are rather awful. Despite its drawbacks, it is still a great Monster Hunter game. If you can play it, Monster Hunter Wilds is by far the greatest game to start the series with. You can aim your attacks, and you can now perform a number of moves while moving and repositioning, which makes combat feel a lot better than in Monster Hunter World. All of the weapons in this game are exciting to use, and they all have a level of mobility that other games don't have. I think this is a good place for new gamers to start. 12. Borderlands 4. Borderlands 4 takes you to a brand new world ruled by a cruel dictator. There, you'll find explosive action, badass vault hunters, and billions of wild and dangerous weapons. As one of 4 new vault hunters, crash into Kairos in search of fortune and fame, use powerful action skills, change the way your character works using vast skill trees, and move around in ways that give you an edge over your enemies. Get away from the cruel timekeeper, a dictator who rules the people from above. Now a disaster that could change the globe is threatening his immaculate order, causing chaos all over the world. This game is a lot of fun so far. I hated the third one, but this one gives back the delight I felt when I played the first 2, but how well it works. I don't know if the game is faulty or badly optimized, but it is incredibly heavy, and it makes sense in a way. People say this game doesn't look better than 3, but it does. The vegetation is more detailed, and the lighting and materials are better overall, and I'm pretty sure it's using ray tracing in some way. Also, it's more of an open world now, which is harder on its own. It's definitely an upgrade, and you can see why it's harder. 11. Dune. Awakening. You may fully immerse yourself in the renowned world of Dune, an epic open-world survival RPG. The Bene Gesserit have picked you to be their agent on Arrakis to find out what happened to the missing Fremen. As you uncover an epic Dune story that has never been written before, yours, you'll visit places like Arrakeen and Haga Basin and meet familiar characters like Duke Leto Atreides and Fade Rautha Harkonnen. Awakening lets you explore a huge open world called Arrakis, which is full of mysteries to find, stories to tell, and the chance to go from survival to greatness. You can play alone or with companions. The game starts off well with a good instruction on how to survive in the game. Always drink enough water, stay in the shade to avoid the sun, and never cross wide areas of open sand unless you want to be Shai Hulud's food. Deep Desert was meant to be a big PvP zone where players would fight over the most valuable resources, most of which are not available anywhere else in the game. But the game was also shown to be a PvE experience with optional PvP. 10. Avowed, welcome to the Living Lands, a strange island full of risk and excitement. Avowed is a first-person fantasy action RPG set in the made-up world of Eora, which players first saw in the Pillars of Eternity series. The game was made by the award-winning team at Obsidian Entertainment. The Living Lands is an island where the air is full of old magic, the plants seem to move on their own, and the ground beneath your feet moves with mysteries that are waiting to be found. This is a great action RPG with fun gameplay. It's like Vermintide, but less complicated. It's a lot of fun to utilize the powers and weapons, and it's easy to change your abilities and builds, so you never get bored trying out new things. This is a real Pillars game, so there are a lot of things to do in each location. There are a lot of missions and a wonderful plot to follow. Your choices do matter and have a big impact on each settlement as you walk through. The only thing I don't like is that there aren't as many different types of enemies as there may be, but the combat is fun enough to make up for it. 9. Atomfall. Atomfall is a survival action game based on real-life events. It takes place 5 years after the Windscale nuclear disaster in northern England. In a made-up quarantine zone, you can scavenge, craft, trade, battle, and chat your way through a British countryside full with strange people, magic, cults, and rogue government agencies. Atomfall will challenge you to figure out the dark mystery of what really happened. The firm behind Sniper Elite and Zombie Army Rebellion made the game. Player-driven mystery, explore, talk, investigate, and fight your way through a web of stories where every choice you make has an effect. This one was a lot of fun for me. The gameplay is strange, it has some light RPG elements, some simple survival elements, and a very basic combat system. This alone shouldn't be the reason you play this game. The best part for me was that there was no wrong way to play and no clear waypointed path to follow to finish the game. This made all the interactions feel more spontaneous and emergent, so every new plot, beat, or encounter felt different. 8. Mafia. The Old Country. The Old Country is a tough mafia thriller set in the harsh underbelly of 1900s Sicily that tells the story of how organized crime began. In this realistic third-person action-adventure game set in a frightening, merciless time, you play as Enzo Favara and fight to stay alive while proving your worth to the family. Enzo will do anything to make his life better. He had a hard upbringing where he had to work hard, but now he's willing to risk all to become a man of honor in the Torresi crime family. His pledge to the Mafia, which comes with a lot of power, temptation, and difficulty, is a constant reminder of this simple truth. Family requires sacrifice. It seemed like I was watching an old-school Mafia movie, but I was really playing it. How well does it work? My computer can run recent games like butter, yet this one still ran like it was on life support. There were frame drops and stutters everywhere, as if the game wanted me to endure it alongside the characters. The narrative was so good that I kept going. It's worth it if you're here for the story. 7. Hell Is Us. Remy, an organized nations peacekeeper, goes missing and travels to the war-torn country of Hadea to find his parents. There, he finds that the area is overrun by supernatural beings after a strange event called the Calamity. The developers called Hadea a semi-open world, and the goal of the game is to identify Raimi's parents by gathering clues. There are no maps, compasses, or quest marks. You have to trust your intuition to find your way. Have a one-of-a-kind experience where you may make your own choices and follow your instincts as you explore thanks to new storytelling and level design. Your discoveries are only yours. You can fight here, but it's not the main thing you do. It's more like driving in GTA, something you do when you're not doing anything else. So it's extremely simple. There are no bonfires, no leveling up your character, and no souls to acquire. You spend much of your time solving riddles and looking around the globe. The main thing about the game is the mystery, and you need to know what it is before you start. 6. The Precinct. You are Officer Nick Cordell Jr. As a new beat cop who just graduated from the academy, you are the first line of defense for the people of Averno. As you safeguard the people and uncover the mystery of your father's murder while on the job, you'll get to experience exciting vehicle chases, sandbox crimes, and a lot of 1980s noir. The Precinct is a mix of a police simulator and an action sandbox game that pays homage to vintage cop movies. Patrol the streets and answer calls to fight both small and big criminals. In exciting chases and shootouts, you can choose your own strategies. In Averno, you can see how the gangs fight for control in a live city where crimes happen all the time, like parking violations, bank robberies, street racing, and drug deals. The Precinct is the best choice right now if you want to play a beat cop in a sandbox environment, even though the story is brief and there are issues that affect the AI. The fact that the crimes in the city change every day and that you can change your shift make this indie game last a long time. I'd want to see more personality in the NPCs and criminals in the future and maybe some funny and healthy exchanges to balance things out. 5. Kingdom Come. Deliverance 2 takes place in the Kingdom of Bohemia in the year 1403. At that time, it was part of the Holy Roman Empire and the lands of the Bohemian Crown. Today, it is in the Czech Republic. The world in this game is twice as big as the one in Kingdom Come. Deliverance has one big world that is connected, while this game has two bigger sections that you can explore freely. The good news is that the game preserves what was excellent about the first one and makes it better. The open world is realistic and alive, the NPCs are smart, the world is interactive, the RPG mechanics are fantastic, the art direction is great, and the mission system has a lot of options. The graphics, animations, HUD, and UI have all gotten better. This medieval realm is still a lot of fun to play in. To be honest, I liked it. You don't see a game like this very often in the gaming world. It only happened twice in 7 years, though. I didn't grow bored because I liked being in this realistic simulation environment again. But even with these changes, the game doesn't feel like it got better. The game is still mostly the same. There are still some of the same weak aspects. 4. Final Fantasy VII. Rebirth, Cloud and his friends break beyond the walls of fate and set off on a fresh voyage into the big world beyond after escaping Midgar, the city of Mako. A whole new adventure is waiting for you as a huge, complex universe opens out in front of you. As you explore the world around you, ride a chocobo across green meadows. The life stream is the cycle of life and death, where all life comes from the earth and goes back to it. The Shinra Electric Power Company, on the other hand, mercilessly drains the planet of its life force, the life stream, and turns it into Mako for industry. After winning many hard-fought fights in the Mako-powered city of Midgar, Cloudstrife and his friends leave the city and enter the wider world. The combat and skill system are mostly the same as in Remake, but there are now synergy skills and abilities. These were enjoyable to use, but like a lot of the things here, they aren't described very well, if at all. I also liked that Rebirth didn't use the old, your characters forgot everything from the first game cliché. Some skills are available right away, but you still have to earn them again. 3. Schedule 1. You're a local dealer who just got to a new town with no money, no goods, and no friends. In the dirty West Coast metropolis of Highland Point, you can build your empire from the ground up. Fight against stronger police and dangerous cartel rivals to grow your empire and reach the top of the underground. Make a variety of products to meet the needs of your clients, each having its own distinctive way of being made. Find unique recipes that let you make fresh versions with unique qualities. This is a risky job because you'll have to deal with more police and lethal cartel rivals. Use your fists, melee weapons, or guns to fight. You start out tiny like a chemistry dropout who can't pay their bills, and then you become Walter White's crazy relative. You mix things together, give them new names, and put new labels on them. Boom. You're the next Pablo Picasso. What's the best part? Getting rid of it? The second best thing? You accidentally shot at the cops because you forgot that subtlety exists. The pictures? No, they won't win any awards. But that's what makes it so great. The silly faces your character makes after smoking are more fun than half of what's on Netflix. 2. Hollow Knight. Silksong. As the deadly predator Hornet, explore a country where silk and song rule. You were transported to this strange planet against your will. Get ready to fight powerful enemies and unravel old mysteries as you climb the kingdom's peak on a dangerous pilgrimage. Travel to new places, learn new skills, fight huge groups of bugs and monsters, and find out things about your past and your nature that you didn't know before. Explore the ruined insect empire of Farloom. As you climb to the shining castle at the top of the planet, you will see mossy grottos, gilded cities, and misty moors. Most things in this game are either better than, answer to, or different from things in the Hollow Knight. Hornet is different from the Knight because she moves, fights, and has various skills and equipment. They really focused on how quick she was as a hunter compared to the small Knight we played last time. Her pogo stick is slanted, while the Knight's pogo stick is straight down. Instead of employing shadow magic, she sets traps. 1. Death Stranding. 2. On the Beach. On the Beach takes place mostly in Australia, 11 months after the original game. It is set in a world that has been destroyed by aliens from another world. The player takes on the role of Sam Porter Bridges, a freelance porter, as he and his friends set out on a journey across Australia to connect remote survivors and colonies to the wireless communications Chiral network. This is all done to preserve humanity from extinction. Everything seems like a natural progression from the original game, but it's all brand new. The art is quite pretty. The traversal and the thought and care that went into making it function and really offer you a sense of satisfaction with every small thing you do. Everything you do is part of a bigger endeavor. Kojima appeared to focus more on combat in this game, which is a good thing. But the main thing that made the first game so fantastic, which was how easy it was to make good deliveries, is still very much alive and has changed. The plot? A direct strike to the heart, but nonetheless beautiful and profound, with many real-life examples.